It's be dangerous. I'm kind of tired as usual, but this is gonna be a different type of video. I want to do like a story time. This is like my first ever story time. Now I was thinking about what to do a video about, and I'm like, well, what the fuck can I talk about? And then it hit me, my coming out story. Like some of y'all may know the basics of how I came out, and this is gonna be semi-long because I came out when I was 27. So I'm gonna take you through like the stages and phases that I went through in finding myself. So here we go. So growing up, it was something that has always been in me. You know what I'm saying? Even before I knew what the fuck being bisexual or liking females was, like I knew something was in me. I just didn't know what the fuck to call it at that time. So I had to be like in 2nd grade. And that started actually my first boo thing, crush, or whatever you want to call it. And it was with this girl called, I don't want to say her whole name, because she's probably going to be watching this. Let's see. We're going to call her Scorpio. That's good. But anyway, I met Scorpio in 2nd grade because I was real popular with like reading back in the day. Like I used to go to classes and read books to class, the different classes and stuff like that. And I actually ended up meeting her in this class. Like we clicked in a certain way. Like I liked her smile from the very, very beginning. Like that's the first thing I fucking noticed. I'm like, damn, she got a really nice smile. So anyways, like we met there and the crush started from there. It was like a little thing. I'm like, okay, she's cute, you know what I'm saying? But I really wasn't worried about that at that point. So fast forward to like 3rd and 4th grade. This is when me and her started like really hang like that, because both of us were tomboys at the time. Because, well, I'm still a tomboy now, but we got along because we played basketball and we loved sports. Both of us love sports. We played basketball together, hung out together. Like we just really, really vibed a lot. And it's like people was like, oh well, what do you know about being bisexual at this age? Like at that time, mind you, when you're really young and you don't know what certain things are, you feel it within. I watched a video earlier and they hit it on the head. You feel that shit internally before you know anything else. Before you know anything about how what sexual things are, whatever the case might be, you feel that shit inside and you know you have a little bit of a crush. But yeah, it started from there. Like I think the height of me and her was like maybe 4th through 8th grade. 4th through 8th grade. So it was like 4 years of this. Like me and her would talk, we would laugh all the time. Like if she knew I was watching, she knew that she was gonna do something to make me laugh or whatever the case might be. Like I got stories for days, but I don't want to get into that. And before I really, really knew I liked girls, it was like 7th grade. I went through like a phase of like me dressing really boyish and having to like conform to what my mother wanted me to be. And at that time, I wasn't really secure in myself. I wasn't secure in my skin or anything like that. Like you couldn't tell me who I was internally. Like inside, you could not tell me that I was not a good person. You couldn't tell me that I didn't have a good heart. You couldn't tell me that I didn't have a good mind. Like internally, I was solid, but the outside always gave me issues at the time. And I remember, I think me and my mother were in the car, and we had a like serious conversation about like, well, about my sexuality at the time. She was like, well, you can't really dress like this because you don't want people to think that you're a dyke or this or that. Excuse me. And at that time, it was like I cared a lot about what people thought of me. Like right now, I can really give a fuck what anybody thinks of me, but at that time, I cared deeply about what people thought of me. Like I don't want to be seen as this or that or whatever the case might be. And my mother said, she was like, she straight up asked me, she was like, do you like females? She was like, it's okay if you do, but do you ever see a girl and be like, oh, I want to date her? And at that time, I did feel that way. Because mind you, this was the height of me in Scorpio. And I wanted to say yes, but I didn't know what the backlash was going to be if I did tell her yes. So at the time, I told her no. I'm like, no, I don't like females, I just like dudes, blah, 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 whatever the case might be. And I wish I would have been more open and a lot more trusting of my mother to come out and tell her what exactly I was feeling at that time. Because like I said, I had to come into my own. Like there was no be mode, there was no be dangerous, there was none of that at this time. I was just plain Beatrice at the time, that's my real name. And not knowing what my future was going to be. who I was gonna be as a person, internally, externally. Like I didn't know what that was, But I pushed it in the back of my mind, like the whole subject of my sexuality by high school, like that was like a distant memory. Like I just wanted to put the shit behind me, and I didn't. It's not the fact that I didn't want to address it, but I didn't know how to go about it. So I had my first boyfriend. Me and him dated for like 4 years. Me and him dated for 4 years, and it was like I loved him. Don't get me wrong, but there was, I guess it was for me being so young and not really knowing what I wanted in a mate. Something was not there. Like you can love somebody, you can love the hell out of somebody. For that extra something, if those butterflies and stuff weren't there after a certain time, something is not sitting right. You know what I'm saying? So, like I went through with that. Like I did the whole guys thing, and I still do the guys thing. Don't get me wrong. Like I'm bisexual, so. But like, it always gnawed at me that people thought that I was some form of LGBT, and I was claiming to be straight at the time. So I would just say, "Yo, I'm straight. I'm this. I'm that," and I would over accentuate what I thought I was. I would over accentuate the fact that I was quote unquote straight. And I'm like, I had to get to a point, like really, really get to a point where I found myself, I found my voice, I knew who I wanted to be in life, I found my passion in life, but something just was not clicking. And this was like maybe 2016 and 17 at that time. So I was really struggling internally, like, why am I not totally happy with myself? Like, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, like, what's missing? So, I want to say June 9th of 2017. I was 27 years old. And I really had to have a sit-down conversation with myself and be like, okay, this has been in you for X amount of years. You know what things are and what they have been. You've just been hiding it for so long and so fucking worried about what people are going to think about you that you've been denying yourself your best life for years. So it's time for you to embrace what you are. You've liked females for a very long time. Therefore, you need to accept that for yourself. Before you even tell anybody or confide to anybody about this, make peace with yourself before anybody else. So once I was able to drill that into my head, once I was able to like really, really come full circle and be like, okay, this is what I am. It's nothing to be embarrassed about. Sexuality is fluid. You can be whatever the fuck you want to be. And as long as it makes you happy, nothing else matters. So once I got that completely through my head, I was able to be happier. I was able to completely be who I was meant to be. And not be ashamed, not be embarrassed, and not give a fuck. Like truthfully and honestly, not give a fuck what people got to say about you. And now today, like I can say that I've been literally the happiest I've been with myself in a long time. Granted, things happened here and there, and like things happen in life where it affects you in a negative way. Like you have your ups and your downs, like anybody does. But once you have that internal peace with yourself, everything else will come without you having to do anything about it. And yes, me and Scorpio we still talk. I won't go into too many details about that. But me and Scorpio still talk, and she's fine as fuck. Like, how do you get finer? Like, explain to me. People that have had questions for a long ass time can relate to this. You see somebody and you think they fine back then, but as you get older and you see certain things, it's like, well, damn, how did you get finer? Like, that's how I feel right now. But yeah, that's pretty much my coming out story. There was no dramatics. Like, I told my aunt about it, and it was like maybe a year into me being completely bisexual. And my aunt took it surprisingly well. And I didn't think she would. Like, I don't know why I waited for so long. I wanted to, like, feel things out. Like, first tell a couple of my friends here and there. It was baby steps. Like, for real, it was baby steps. I told a couple of my friends. Told my coworkers. Well, the ones I was cool with anyway. And then when I graduated to social media, I'm like, okay, I'm going to have to tell my aunt eventually. So when I told her, she was really accepting of it. Because I know certain families, they're like completely against people being bisexual, being gay, you know what I'm saying, being trans. Like people are like really close-minded when it comes to that. But thankfully, my aunt was open-minded enough to be like, okay, this is what you are. I accept you. I still love you. And you're going to get through this, you know? So I was happy with that. So once I told my aunt, I was like, okay, I don't give a fuck who else knows. And I was good with that. But yeah. And another thing, like, I wish I would have told my mother. That's the one regret that I do have. I wanted to tell my mother, but didn't know how. And she knows now. So, and I know she would accept me. That's not even a, how do I say this? That wasn't a good sound. Like, I know my mother would accept me no matter what. But I wish she would have been here for me to actually tell her what was up. But yeah. That's my coming out story. If you expected something dramatic, I'm sorry. But yeah, it is what it is. Like, everything just went smoothly. Like, once I was able to embrace certain things and embrace it for myself, I was good. And damn, 11 minutes. I'm gonna leave this video right here. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe this, and you guys have a good day.